This is Dr. Manjunath Channapagod from Anveshana Academy, Bangalore, India. Dear students, in the last class we discussed about what is closed system, what are the application of closed system. In detail we discussed in the last class. Today I will move towards next topic, that is thermodynamic isolated system. What is thermodynamic isolated system? It is a system in which there is no mass and energy transfer takes place. I repeat, thermodynamic system is a system in which there is no mass and energy across the system boundary. That type of system we can call it as a isolated system. How it is, that we can see now. So what I will do, I will consider a system. It is having a mass and it is surrounded by a layer. That layer we can call it as a system boundary. Here across this system boundary, we can see here now. Across the system boundary, no mass transfer, and no energy transfer. So if there is no mass and energy transfer takes place across the system boundary, that type of system we can call it as an isolated system. Okay, so to better understand what I will do, I will take an engineering application, that is IC engine, piston and cylinder arrangement. Okay, so what I will do, I will take a cylinder and piston. In that cylinder, what I will do, I will put in a hot gas here now. So I will put a hot gas of temperature T1, volume V1 and pressure P1. When it is a hot gas, right, obviously it is having an heat, actually heat energy, and assume that it is this piston and cylinder, it is that, right, that cylinder is well insulated, well thermally insulated. Okay, so that means what is thermal insulation, that you can understand, dear students. Assume that there is a heat, actually inside heat is there. Okay, you can take any kind of matter. Okay, this insulation you can call this as an insulation. Fine, this is insulation. This insulation, what it will do, insulation, it will not allow to transfer heat from system to the surrounding or from surrounding to the system. Insulation is a material which will not allow, or it is going to prevent the transfer of heat. It may be from inside to the outside or outside to the inside of the system. That is nothing but what? Insulation. That insulation, what it will do here now, it will prevent the transfer of heat from system to the surrounding, and also vice versa, from outside to the surrounding to the system also. There is no any heat transfer. That is nothing but what? Insulation. That insulation is not allowing heat transfer, one thing. And when it is completely closed, when it is having a fixed boundary, there is no provision for transfer of mass, hence there is no mass transfer also. So in this isolated system, there is no mass is transferring, there is no heat energy is transferring. If it's so, that system we can call it as a isolated system. In simple term, in isolated system there is no mass and energy transfer takes place. That system we can call it as a isolated system. Examples or applications you can see here now. Thermoflask is the best example for isolated system. So isolated system, we are going to put, you can call it as a, you can make it as a system, we can call it as a system. It's this system consists of certain matter or substance. We can take, you can take hot water. Okay, hot water you can take, or you can take a tea, or you can take anything else. Okay, when you are going to close it, right, when you are going to close it, there is no mass transfer. Okay, there is no mass transfer and there is no heat transfer. If there is no mass and heat transfer takes place in a system, that system we can call it as, is isolated system. So we can call it as a isolated system. One example, you can take hot box, you can take a hot box. Okay, whenever you are going to prepare food and you are going to put it in your home, right, you can see here now, there, this is hot box is again what? Well insulated. The hot box is well insulated. So this hot in the, you can call it as a system. This hot box you can call it as a system. In this system, when it is a hot box, there is no mass is transferring, no mass transfer. Okay, no mass transfer, and there is no heat transfer. If it's so, If there is no mass transfer, if there is no heat transfer in the system, that we can call it as a isolated system. Isolated system in which there is no mass and heat energy across the system boundary, that we can call it as a isolated system. Okay, now I will move to the next slide. You can see here now. So what is characteristics of this isolated system, dear students? You can see here now. Okay, this is what isolated system. There is no mass transfer and there is no energy transfer. What are the significance of this isolated system? It is a simplified analysis and it is a fundamental principle it is going to have. Okay, examples: ideal gas you can give, and as I told, thermal insulation also you can give. So to understand better, I have considered two more live applications. You can see here now. Ice cream seller. You can, in a village, you can see in a village ice cream seller will come, right? Then whenever you will bring ice cream, that will be in ice cream box. Okay, ice cubes or ice cream box, he is going to bring it in a insulated box. Insulated box we can call insulated box. Okay, in an insulated box, you can see here, just a minute. Okay, insulated box he will bring, right? In that insulated box, he is going to bring the ice cream. So when he is bringing ice cream, right, so it is a box, it is box, right? It is having a boundary, so I can call it as a system. But what type of system it is? When it is ice cream, right, when it is, and also that box is insulated. When the box is insulated, there is no heat is transferring from system to the surrounding. Here you can see no heat transfer. And when it is completely closed, there is no transfer of mass also, no mass transfer. If the system in which if there is no mass and heat transfer, that we can call it as an isolated system. The best example we can give, ice box. The ice cream seller, what is using ice box, that you can call it as that you can take it as one example for what? Isolated system. So now I will move towards next one. Fishing, right? When you can see fish, we are going to bring the fish in a box, right? That also you can consider. That again, fish box is well insulated from a long distance. You are going to transfer, right? Fish. What you will do? You are going to take in a box. That box is insulated. That box is insulated. You can take a fish. Then what you are going to do? You are avoiding to transfer heat from surrounding to the system. You are avoiding heat transfer from, this is what? Surrounding, right? Anything external to the system is surrounding. This is what? System. Okay, fine. So now what we are doing, with the help of this insulation, you are avoiding to transfer heat from surrounding to the system. That type of system we can call it as a isolated system. So the fish box, okay, fish which is there in the thermoplus box, right? That is nothing but what? Isolated system. Okay, now okay, now so here I am going to consider some examples for different types of system. What is isolated system? You can see now what I have done. I have taken a hot pot that I put it into a insulated box. If it is an insulated box, there is no mass transfer and there is no heat transfer. That is nothing but what? Isolated system. No mass transfer and no energy transfer. So that is what? Isolated system. You can take this hot box. Okay, you can take, and a closed system. Assume that this rice cooker is closed, but it gets heated around 80 degrees Celsius. That means what? Here it is having a fixed boundary. That physical boundary we can see, that is real boundary. Through that boundary, heat is only transferring, but no mass transfer. That is what? Closed system. What is in that closed system? We are having moving boundary, fixed boundary, and imaginary boundary. That also we can take. So once the system, you can see here now. Next I will move towards open system. What is open system? When it will start to whistle, right? That means what? Through whistle, that what happens? The steam is getting out. When the steam is getting out, it is having a heat itself. Okay, it is having a heat. That means from the system, you can call it as a system. from the system, steam is coming out means it is carrying certain amount of heat, and also when steam is coming, right, it is having certain amount of mass also. This is a system in which both heat and mass energy getting transferred across the system boundary, that we can call it as a open system. So one more example for open system is, you can take a thermoflask. Now initially when it is closed, it is an isolated system. When we are going to pour the water, right, hot water into a cup, then water is getting transferred from system to the, you can call it as a system. Okay, you can call it as a system. Then when it is completely closed, it acts as an isolated system. When we are going to pour the water into the cup, right, hot water is getting transferred. When hot water is getting transferred, that means what, it is going to across the system boundary. There both heat energy and mass is transferring. If there is both mass and heat transfer takes place, then that we can call it as a open system, that we can call it. Okay, so we discussed what is open and what is closed system and isolated system. Okay, fine. So I will move towards next concept. At the last, I'm going to recall once again open, closed and isolated system. You can see what is open system. There is both mass and heat energy can transfer across the system boundary, whereas closed system, it is a system in which only energy will transfer, but there is no mass transfer. When it comes to isolated system, this is the isolated system in which there is no mass and energy transfer takes place. That is known to be isolated system. So you can draw any diagram, and you can explain. So I will make a table, and you can make a table and also you can explain what is closed system. The system in which mass transfer will not takes place, hence there is no mass transfer and only energy transfer takes place. Okay, open system, yes, mass transfer takes place, yes, energy transfer takes place, yes, but in isolated system, no mass transfer and there is no heat transfer. This is about open, closed and isolated system. So you can draw any diagram, and you can explain. Okay, thank you, thanks to all. Okay, please, dear students, subscribe my channel, like and share and do comments. Okay, thanks to all.